Good afternoon, East Texas Cigar Tribe. Chris here, smoking a little Drew Estates Undercrown Maduro. This is a San Andreas wrapped Brazilian and Nicaraguan filled stick with Nicaraguan binder. It's a great stick. It's arguably one of the most popular brands on the market today. I don't think Drew Estates does anything bad. Everything in their portfolio is pretty popular, and the people that love them really love them. It's a very sweet stick. I got lots of notes right off the bat of chocolate, not a whole bunch of spice working. Got a little bit of spice, like maybe like a hint of cinnamon, but nonetheless, great stick. I'm going to smoke on it for a while. Beautiful stick. The burn is, hopefully it'll straighten itself out so I don't have to touch it up, but it's not exactly straight right now. Could have been my fault, who knows. I got a fan blowing in my face, so that might not be helping. I had a chance to go up to Marshall, Texas this weekend and had a ride with the Devil Dogs MC. I spent the night with Bruce Adams up there, so that it was a little shorter ride to our first destination the next day. And we smoked some cigars and we rolled the cameras. Had some great footage from that. So let's roll a little of that and show you guys what we were talking about. See you guys in a little bit. All right, East Texas Cigar Tribe, we are coming to you live from Hallsville from, what's the name of this place we're at?
Well, I'm not going to say it, but it's...
I thought it was, to be clear, I Googled it, and my old eyes thought it was the stripper zone, but it's not. So this is a very professional, it is one of the premier striping companies. If you've driven in the state of Texas and you've driven around anywhere, the chances are, if you've seen raised, what do they call the things? In the middle, stripes.
Everything.
Where you're driving down the road and you get the reflection back at night.
Everything after the road is done, if you sit on top of it,
so it's not those stripes that when it rains you can't see anymore. No, that's not yours.
No, we designed some new ones that are even better than that. It's called dot line.
And so what's the deal with those?
Dot line is the raised dots, a series of them. And so when it rains, instead of sitting on top,
yep,
especially at night, it pours off of them and goes off to the side and it sheds.
Because I got to be honest with you, and I'm not saying I've ever done it inebriated, because Lord knows I would not do that. However, I've been sober driving and it gets rainy,
yep,
and it gets damn hard to see on some of these old farm to market roads.
Yeah, we were actually, one of our engineers was actually the one that got that through TxDOT and got it approved, designed everything, and man, we're going with it.
So this is Bruce Adams. So I haven't introduced him. You guys know me. This is East Texas Cigar Tribe. I'm Chris. I'm here with Bruce Adams. Bruce Adams is one of the, what is your position here at?
I'm the Safety and Compliance Officer.
Safety and Compliance Officer. And that's important. But you know what's more important? He's the VP of my motorcycle club.
Yeah, right.
He is the Devil Dogs Vice President.
Yeah, right.
And so, and what's even more important is you're a proud veteran.
Yes, sir. Marine Corps.
Marine Corps.
Just like you.
Just like us. Marine Corps brothers. So, you know, we do a lot of things and we interview some folks, and we talk to a lot of folks, but at the end of the day, we're just, you know, we're just friends. We're trying to have a smoke. We're trying to enjoy. He's gonna, what are you smoking tonight?
I have no idea.
You're smoking an Arganese, and this is actually, we just did a review on this. It's a Maduro stick. This is a stick, so Bruce likes cigars. He leans towards a flavored stick, but the truth is he's only been smoking cigars for a couple of months. So we're moving him to this, and I think on that review the other day, we talked about this being a good stick for somebody moving from maybe somebody that doesn't like a real pungent stick, but wants to move up to a Maduro. And so that's what we're doing. And that's actually a dark Habano wrapper. It is, man, it's a great stick. It's long filler. So here's the difference. So some of these sticks, there's some sticks that are called a Cuban sandwich. Nice. And so it's long, it's like this piece of wrapper is a long piece of wrapper on the inside. And so the rollers take it and they put it in their hands and they take all the long fillers, it's great big long leaves, and then they take crumbles, if you will, that were from other cigars or whatever, and they stick these crumbles and they put these crumbles in the middle. And then they roll it up. So that's a long, which is fine, and they smoke good, but sometimes you get stuff. This is a long filler stick. So this was made with premium long filler tobacco.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Being new to the game, I know it's a torpedo, I understand that. You showed me how to cut it correctly.
Yep.
Maduro, are they, the ones I've seen are mainly square in shape?
No, so that's the color of the stick, really.
Maduro is a color.
Yeah, so here's the deal. So some places, depending on the country you're in, they're gonna, so the lighter sticks that are really blonde colored sticks, they're typically grown in the shade. So if they grow that in America, it's typically under a plastic cover. If you grow it in Nicaragua, then they grow it under a cheesecloth. Old school was they had long leaves on the top, and the ones at the bottom didn't get quite as much sun. But that's what the deal is. So now they're manufacturing those leaves that they could only have a few of back in the day because the long leaves on the top were keeping it from getting sunburned, if you will. Gotcha. That's the difference. So that leaf is sun grown. It's out in the sun.
Very dark.
Yeah, dude, and it's got a lot of oils. It's gonna have a lot more flavor. But this stick isn't gonna have as much flavor as some of the dark sticks.
That's fine.
But I gave you a stick that is gonna, you may not like it. I gave him a diesel unlimited Maduro, which isn't over the top, but let's be clear, guys. It's a Nicaraguan stick by AJ Fernandez, and it is absolutely, it's one of my favorite sticks. But you know, it's one of those that you can smoke and you can go, dude, I'm not really digging it. And you know, if you throw it away, you're not gonna hurt my feelings.
Well, my answer to that is what you just said. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, here we go. Let's blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to that.
Show me how you do it.
So I'm going to toast the end.
I toasted it. I saw you do that.
Toasting it just for a few seconds, and then I light it. And when I light it, I'm turning it.
And turn it.
Okay, so I'm not torching it right straight in it. I'm not blowing fumes straight back my stick. I kind of keep it at a little bit of an angle.
Do you look at it to make sure it's even?
Then I'll look at it. So it's not even. So then I'm going to torch it. I'm going to torch it just a second. Looking good.
Yep.
There you go. You want to torch?
I'm going to torch. All right. Here we go. Which end?
Dude, I've done that. You just.
All right. So I fire it up, get it started.
Yeah, just a few. Yep. There you go. Turn that sucker.
Really?
Dude, it's a Zippo, for Christ's sake. You've been a Marine for, how long were you a Marine? You're still a Marine.
I've still got my original Zippo with the Eagle Illumination on it. Looks good.
It does look good.
All right.
All right. So long and short of it, you've been working safety, but really, we met because we ride Harleys together. You know, we're Marines, and that's really what brought us together. But the interesting thing about, so I call him BA. BA is the name that we all call him at the club, but his name is Bruce Adams. So how'd you pick up BA? Is it just your initials? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I would love to taste something different. Sorry about that. It's not the smoke. No, it was that was a Marine Corps name. So Bruce Adams, BA, and so everybody likes to say badass or whatever else, but nah. You know, they can say what they want to say, but it's just, you know, that's me. Here's an interesting fact. You were talking about club history. When I started out, we would go to club runs in the original club back in 2004, 2003, somewhere along there. And we'd go out to eat, and they would have hamburger and french fries. So I'd always, hey man, can I have your fries? So they started calling me Sling Blade.
Sling Blade. You like the French fries with French fries taters?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, I thought that sounded really too bad.
French fries taters.
I thought that sounded too badass that somebody would want to really hurt me, and so it just went back to BA. So yeah, I went from Sling Blade to BA. So
I call it a Sling Blade. Some people call it a Kaiser Blade. I call it a Sling Blade. You ain't like that, are you? You're a mellow dude. Might not be a mellow dude. He is a Marine.
I was an air winger though.
Winger, swing with the wing. So I was a grunt. Man. So I was a grunt. So we call those the grunts. Man, we never had good chow. So the air wingers, you know, they're a little more stationary, and they have good chow, man. So we always used to call it swing with the wing. That's awesome.
Swing with the wing.
So, dude, how long you been riding motorcycles?
Since I was 10 years old.
Really?
You want to know that?
Yeah, dude. What bike was it?
My first one was a nifty thrifty Honda Trail 50.
I love Honda Trails.
And my dad was he had a Triumph shop, Norton, Hodaka, Bulltaco.
Where was that at?
Tyler, Texas.
Tyler, Texas.
2613 West Irwin Street.
Nice.
And so he used to tune and build bikes, flat track bikes. Back
Is your old man still with us?
No, he's not, unfortunately.
When did he leave us?
93.
93.
Yeah. And but I started racing flat track when I was 10 years old. So I was going around sideways, you know, and it just grew from there. And I've always said that when I was 10 years old, I got a guitar, a Tysco, had rocker switches and buttons and 6 knobs or 12 knobs.
Guitar?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys don't know, he is I know he's a safety officer and a vice president of so we're not just any group of guys that ride. We're a genuine 3-patch club. We're a genuine club. That should be all it takes. So talking to BA, talking about him growing up in Tyler, you know, and I did not know that his family owned motorcycle dealerships. He's been riding and racing his whole life. And you know, playing the guitar his whole life basically as well. A lot of things in common between me and from him and I. And he's an interesting guy. He's an interesting guy to talk to. You know, I'm glad he's starting to smoke cigars, but even without the cigars, he's a pretty good dude. So this stick's still real chocolatey. It's a great looking stick, quality looking stick. This burn probably has everything to do with the fact that I'm sitting between an air conditioner and 2 fans trying to stay cool in the 95-degree Texas heat. But back to that deal, he's a Texas native, been here his whole life, outside of the times when he's, you know, traveled or were in the Marine Corps. But we got some more interesting things we're going to talk about. Talking about that shade-grown sticks, you know, that's an interesting deal that they, you know, there's areas where shade wrappers, shade-grown tobaccos are done naturally. It's done up in the trees, up in the I don't know if it's, you know, what kind of trees they grow it underneath that lets enough sunshine through that it'll still grow, but you get enough shade naturally from the trees around it. What countries do that, I'll have to look at that. But I know some countries do that, but it's interesting to see that, you know, American tobacco growers use a different thing to, you know, to manufacture that shade, if you will, than they do in Nicaragua and so forth. Pretty interesting deal. So let's roll some more footage of the interview from this weekend, and we'll smoke this stick down a little bit further. So what made you want to, you know, we got off track because we started talking about that guitar you got when you're 5, but let's
10.
Stay on track 10. Let's stay on track with where we're at.
Okay.
So why didn't you just ride your bike around? Why did you want to be in a club? What brought you to the club lifestyle? Because it's different. Tell us about the club lifestyle first. What does that mean to you?
With us, it's a brotherhood, as it is with everyone. But, and I don't know what I can say on here, but we all know as Marines, and I tell people this quite often, you know, everybody says, oh, they're my friend, they're my best friend, they're this, they're that, the other. And even you and I didn't serve together. You've got people, I said, you know what, I'll tell you what a best friend is. You shit with them, you piss with them,
Oh yeah.
you cry with them, you party with them, and they've got your back.
Yeah.
And so I say, how many friends do you have that would do that? And very few say anything.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. So, you know, and this ain't no joke. So, it's probably by design, but you go to a squad bay when you first get in, and there are toilets down one side of the wall and toilets down the other.
With no divider.
No dividers. There's no toilet paper holder on the side.
No.
You're using the bathroom with people all around you, and you go, hey, can you pass the toilet paper? And they throw it over to you. And that ain't no joke. So when he's talking about, you know, living together, bleeding together, sweating together, pooing together, that ain't no joke. You are absolutely, you become as close as any family. That I'm closer with some of my Marine brothers than I think I'll ever be.
Family.
It's hard because there's things that I've shared with other Marines that I wouldn't dare share with my family.
No. I'm gonna tell you a really weird thing. We were talking earlier. You went to San Diego.
San
You were
Diego.
Hollywood Marine.
Hollywood,
Right.
baby!
All right. So as I was saying, I turned 17, and 3 days later, I went to boot camp. There's a freaking airport runway right there beside me.
Yeah.
You see them taking off.
Freedom
and landing.
birds.
Oh my God!
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going there, stand attention. Good night, Chesty, wherever you are, and all that stuff. But once we got a receiving, and we got into the barracks, I don't know if you remember or not, but all the plumbing was exposed, the black pipes for the
Right.
water and everything.
Right.
So I'm going there, I'm going, God, I miss home. Where's Mama?
Right.
And all that stuff. And I look up and I see Tyler Pipe, Tyler, Texas.
You did not.
Yes, it was up there, dude. Tyler Pipe from Tyler, Texas.
That's hilarious.
Had all that stuff, and I was going, okay, whatever. I just see Led Zeppelin land on San Diego Airport, though.
That's funny. You know the thing that bugged me the worst about being in San Diego? So at the time, I don't know if it's still there, but at the time when I was there, the Navy had a bear. Dude, we'd go running by, and they're just smoking and joking, laying out, getting suntan.
With radios and everything
my
else, and
God.
laughing at us across the
yeah.
fence.
It was
Oh
terrible.
yeah, it was the GI beans and GI
Oh, yeah.
gravy. Gee, I wished I'd joined the Navy. Bullshit.
That's funny. So how long did you actually serve?
I was 4 years active, 2 years reserve.
So back to the club life. So, we're a three-piece patch club. We took our colors before the dominant club in the state, which is the Bandidos, and got them kissed, if you will.
Yeah, blessed. Yeah.
So got them blessed, and so you knew that came with a certain responsibility for sure. So, what made you want to go down that road?
When in 2003,
Why not just ride a damn bike?
I've always done that. I mean, I've always done that. But the Marine Corps was a part of it too. What had happened was,
What had happened was
2003. Harley's, believe it or not, their 100th, I think, anniversary
yeah.
was in freaking Tyler, Texas. Why? I don't know. It must have been, some of that. But the band I was playing in was supposed to play. Blue Oyster Cult was there, and so we're going to open everything else. And while I was there, I saw these three guys walk by with these colors on their back.
Yeah.
And they had the Eagle Open-Acre. Back then it was Leathernecks.
Leathernecks.
Okay, but it had USMC on the bottom. And I said, hey, what is this? And they said, well, we're going to be in Austin for ROT. Come down and see us in July or August or whatever. And I went down there, and I was one of the not of the Leathernecks, but I got with them, and man, I tell you what, Andy, our original president, was just an amazing person. I hope you'll meet one day. He loves these two.
I love it.
And so it just went from there. So you figure 2003, was it 18 years now?
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah, so that Navy barracks we were talking about is actually, at the time, I don't know how, I think they had Great Lakes Training Center for a boot camp, but they also had San Diego. They might even had one in Virginia somewhere. But nonetheless, that was a boot camp for Navy folks, and it was not the same kind of boot camp. And I got a lot of good Navy friends that love to death, but if we're keeping that, I don't want to call them out, but their boot camp was nothing like our boot camp. And you go by and they're basically taking it easy, and we're over here slaving, boots and utes, PTing. But nonetheless, it's a good time, and so that was a pretty interesting deal. So I'm down about halfway on this Drew Estates. Got a little more spice working, but I'm still picking it up like almost like a red hot candy. Purge real quick. So it's not quite as chocolatey as it was, but it's still, kind of a cinnamon and cocoa mix. It's really nice. This is one I'll definitely, buy a few of and set them in the old humidor. So we had a good time. We had a bottle of, we were pairing these that night with a bottle of Elijah Craig with a small batch, 1784 small batch, highly rated bourbon. I hadn't tried it before. I liked it. It was good. You know, I don't like a real sweet bourbon, but nonetheless, that bourbon, it was, you know, maybe it was a little sweeter than I would prefer, but nonetheless, we wound up hammering the whole bottle, unfortunately, between the two of us, and a good time was had for sure. So let's finish up that, and I'll smoke this down a little bit. Got a little bit more footage from that evening, and I'll tell you what my thoughts are on the cigar.
I don't want to call this an outreach by any stretch, but it is an outreach. But that's, you know, it's not, hey, we're trying to do a public service. We're not. Dude, that's my brother, and I want to take care of him.
Yep.
And I want him to know that he can come hang out. I don't give a shit if you're riding on his old nifty 50. You can come ride with us. So that's the deal.
It's always having your back.
Dude, always having their back.
Always having the back.
All right, so wrapping up here. That was a great night. Enjoyed seeing everybody the next day. We rode to Tun Tavern, which is a marine-owned business in Sulphur Springs, obviously named after the famous Tun Tavern, which is birthplace of the Marine Corps. Birthday being November 10th, 1775 is the date that we were actually born in a tavern in Philadelphia named Tun Tavern. And so another Marine opened a business, and in tribute and homage, as they say, he named it the Tun Tavern, and it is absolutely filled with memorabilia. You know, it's definitely a tavern. It is not a loungy place. It's not, you know, super upscale. It's a place where Marines go hang out for sure. Very vet friendly. The thing that stood out the most of this guy's bar is that the food is not like your typical bar food. So we had 8 or 10 of us, and everybody got something different except for me and Tank, one of my brothers, and we both got pizzas. The thing we both noticed about the pizza is that it looked totally homemade scratch, and it looked like a brick oven pizza. And so we got the owner and said, hey man, what's the deal with this? It looks like a brick oven pizza. I'm not getting that smokiness that you get from a brick oven, from a brick oven, wood-fired type oven, but the crust is impeccable, tastes fresh, the ingredients are top-notch. What's the deal? So he let us in on his secret. So this guy travels, goes all around the world, takes his food very serious, takes his cooking very serious, and so he's actually studied pizzas all around the world. He went to Sicily and studied pizza. And so the thing that he found is that he got a really quality stone for cooking the pizzas on, but it's not just about putting a stone like most people do and put it in the oven. You heat the oven up, cook the pizza on the stone, and voila, you got a stone-cooked pizza. That ain't the deal. The deal is, he says, is that you got to really, really get that stone uber hot. So it takes some proper prior planning. You're not just going to come pop in and go, hey, somebody ordered a pizza. Let's fire up the oven, and here in 5 or 10 minutes, it'll be ready to go. You got to come in early. You got to prep. You got to get that oven way up to heat. You got to get that stone overheated, because that's the key for getting that crust. And on the note on the crust, he makes it every day. So he batches out. He estimates how many people are going to come in, looks at his trends for his business, and he makes that dough every day. Top-notch, top-quality ingredients, and it really shows. And so as I looked around the table, there were everything from pastrami sandwiches, some other sandwiches, different things working. I think one guy had it was a chicken parm, and it was great. So I walked over to the bar, looked at his menu, and he walked over and says, yeah, you know, I said, the food is outstanding. I mean, it's like chef cooked food. It's really good food. He says, well, I appreciate that. I said, but your menu's kind of ugly. He says, well, man, I get that. He says, but the menu's ugly because depending on what kind of fresh ingredients I get, I'm going to change the menu daily. I said, you're not changing this menu daily at a bar. He says, yes, I am. We take pride in it. And it really, really showed. And once again, that's up in Sulphur Springs, north of Tyler. So it was a good day. It was a great day that had by all. And one thing we talk about on this video is that we're a club of Marines. But man, you know, anybody can ride with us. If you're a Marine, anybody can ride. If you want to come ride with us, come ride with us. But if you want to be a member, Anybody that's a Marine or that was a Navy corpsman that was attached with the Marines can join the Devil Dogs. I'm going to tell you right now, we're not one of those clubs that, you know, you got to ride American Iron. You can, we really mean you can ride whatever. Most of us ride American Iron. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that we have a member that doesn't, but the truth is you might catch some crap for riding something else. No, just kidding. We won't give you too much crap, maybe just a little crap. But you can ride whatever you want to ride. You ride what you want to ride. Come ride with your brothers. And we definitely, you know, we do not discriminate. We are totally down with any Marines, any Navy corpsmen that were Marine Corps regs. So I'm going to wrap this up. This is a great cigar. I've enjoyed it. I'm going to smoke it down to the nub. The flavor profile hasn't changed a bunch. You know, it went from being real chocolatey to more cocoa. The cinnamon has stayed consistent all the way down, but I've gotten a bit of a buttery taste the farther that I've got down the stick. Really buttery. So it's been a great stick. I'm going to continue to smoke it. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Do me a favor, man. Subscribe to this channel and like this video. See y'all on the flip side.